There were people that were just following this case like a soap opera, like a novella, because it had so many twists and turns.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're examining the most shocking times someone took the lives of their parents, also known as parricide.
The sentence came after 31-year-old Henry Chow was found guilty last Friday of murdering his elderly parent.
Lowell Lee Andrews, a student at the University of Kansas. Andrews was described as the nicest boy in Walcott, his hometown. However, nothing was further from the truth. In 1958, obsessed with getting involved in organized crime and being a hitman, Andrews walked into his family bedroom. After donning a suit, he grabbed a firearm. He ended the lives of his sister Jenny Marie and parents William and Opal with many, many shots. After making the scene look like a robbery, Andrews drove to the cinema near his college apartment for an alibi. He then returned and called the cops. However, they were suspicious. It took a local pastor to get Andrews to admit what he'd done. In 1962, he was executed for his crimes. Chandler Halderson. Bart and Krista had vanished from their home in Windsor, Wisconsin.
When we first got the email saying that Bart and Krista were missing, it didn't compute. Like, what do you mean they're missing?
Only their son Chandler didn't seem desperate to find them until Krista's colleague intervened. After he went around the neighborhood, asking if anyone had seen his parents, a farmer told the cops they'd seen Halderson several days ago on their property. When officers retraced his steps, they found his father's remains. Halderson was arrested, but he wouldn't divulge where Krista was.
Chandler Halderson had lawyered up and wasn't talking, but someone very close to him was.
Using data from his girlfriend's Snapchat account, they pinpointed his movements and found his mother's remains. He allegedly did it due to his lies being exposed about dropping out of college and faking an internship at a SpaceX job. In 2022, Halderson was sentenced to life.
Halderson was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Susanne von Richthofen. In 2002, von Richthofen invited her boyfriend, Daniel Cravinhos, and his brother, Christian Cravinhos, into her family home in Sao Paulo, Brazil at night. For months, she had been planning this moment after her parents disapproved of her relationship and had a fortune of millions she wanted to inherit. After the Cravinhos murdered Manfredi Albert and Marisia von Richthofen, the trio staged a break-in. Later, when they returned home, von Richthofen got her brother and, quote, discovered the carnage. However, the disconnected alarm system and von Richthofen hosting her birthday party after her parents' funeral led cops to arrest her and the brothers. In 2006, von Richthofen and Danielle received 40 years, while Christian got 38 years. In 2023, she was released on probation. Tyler Hadley. In 2011, Michael Mandel attended a party at his friend's house in Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Well, Michael, it was here inside this Port St. Lucie home that investigators say Tyler Hadley allegedly murdered both of his parents with a hammer.
However, when he took a walk with host Hadley, he confessed to Mandel that he had killed his parents, Blake and Mary Jo, and their bodies were in the bedroom, unbeknownst to the guests. For several hours, Mandel played it cool.
After I found his parents, I knew it was going to be the last time I seen him. This is that look on his face. You could see the horror in his face. That's not normal Tyler.
Once he left, he contacted a crime hotline, and Hadley was soon arrested. With a history of substance use, his parents wanted to send him to inpatient treatment, which angered him. In 2014, due to being a minor at the time of the crime, he was sentenced to 2 life terms. After it was overturned on a technicality in 2018, Hadley was resentenced to life.
This morning, the judge ruled to uphold 2 life sentences for Tyler Hadley.
Joel Michael Guy Jr. In 2016, the police arrived at the home of Joel and Lisa Guy in Knoxville, Tennessee for a wellness check when she didn't turn up for work.
Police officers visited the Guy's residence and checked in with their neighbors.
We're just doing a welfare check, just to make sure they're okay. I was just curious when the last time you seen them.
I know they were here at Thanksgiving because their son was with them.
After getting inside, they discovered a grisly scene as their remains were everywhere. During this time, their son, Joel Guy Jr., was getting medical treatment for cuts on his hands. When he was arrested, the cops found a mountain of evidence, including a notebook documenting his plan.
The best description of its contents, I would call this a murder book.
The plastic surgeon student was devastated his parents were retiring soon and moving, taking away the financial aid they'd given him for years. Looking to cash in on his mother's life insurance, Guy took their lives and attempted to destroy evidence. In 2020, He was sentenced to life imprisonment.
He was sentenced to life in prison for 2 counts of first-degree murder and dismemberment of his parents, Joel Guy Sr. and Lisa Guy.
The Bever brothers. The Bever family in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma were extremely secretive, resulting in their neighbors not knowing their full names as they homeschooled and isolated their children from others.
The only people that were unlike everyone else here lived at the house where police are now investigating a murder.
It's just shocking and frightening.
In 2015, 911 received a distressing call from Daniel Bever that his brother was attacking them before the line cut off. When the cops arrived, parents David and April, along with children Daniel, Christopher, and Victoria, had been slain.
When police broke through the door, they found a family slaughtered.
Crystal was severely injured, and Autumn was unharmed. Teenage brothers Robert and Michael spent months hoarding weapons and armor to attack the family. They claimed their father was abusive, but Robert also stated his desire to be a serial killer. Both received multiple life terms for their actions.
Robert Bever and his brother Michael Bever are serving a life sentence.
Ronald DeFeo Jr. In one terrible act of parricide, DeFeo would inspire the Amityville horror film series. In 1974, he ran into a bar near the family home in Amityville, Long Island, New York to get help.
In just a matter of minutes, Ron DeFeo eliminated his entire family, shooting them as they slept.
DeFeo led a group home to discover his parents, Ronald and Louise, and his siblings, Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John, had all been fatally shot. While the police were protecting DeFeo, he suggested his family were victims of a mob hit.
His initial claim that he was in a basement and high on pot and heard nothing, to a later assertion that the mob did it.
His story began to unravel, leading to his confession. Over time, DeFeo's story changed many times, leading some to believe he was set up or questioning his mental health. Regardless, he was sentenced to 25 years to life and perished in jail in 2021.
He died Friday while serving a 25-year-to-life sentence at Sullivan Correctional Facility in Fallsburg, New York.
Jasmine Richardson. With him being nearly double their daughter's age at 23, claiming to be a 300-year-old werewolf and wearing a vial of blood around his neck, it's understandable that Mark and Deborah Richardson didn't like their child's boyfriend, Jeremy Steinke.
He was from the other side of the tracks, and he was an unemployed high school dropout who was living in a trailer park.
Yet grounding Richardson did not deter her. Instead, it caused her to create a terrible plan. In 2006, she opened a window for Steinke at the family home in Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada. He fatally attacked Richardson's parents and her brother Tyler.
One of the officers noticed a family portrait sitting on a side table. When he took a look at it, there were 4 people, so there was a girl missing.
In 2007, Richardson was the youngest person in Canada to be found guilty of multiple murders and sentenced to 10 years. In 2008, Steinke was sentenced to life with possible parole after 25 years. In 2016, Richardson was released from all conditions and rejoined society.
We all know she'll be out in the community one day, that's inevitable. And what kind of person is she going to be? What kind of adult is she going to be?
Henry Chow Hoi-leung. In 2013, Chow and his older brother desperately sought their parents, Glory Chow Wing-chi and Moon Soo Yuet Yi, who had vanished in Tai Kok Choi, Hong Kong.
In 2013, Henry Chow lured his 65-year-old father and 63-year-old mother to a flat in Tai Kok Choi.
After going to social media and the press for help, Chow went to the police. During questioning, he told his friends through WhatsApp that he had murdered his parents. Chow blamed his parents for his failures in life.
The judge criticized Chow for thinking that killing his parents would solve all his problems.
He invited them to Angus Tse Chung Koi's apartment, where Chow murdered them. Tse then helped get rid of the bodies by making them appear as pork and storing them in lunchboxes. In 2015, Chow was found guilty and sentenced to life, and Tse received 1 year.
Despite pretending to have mental problems, he had planned the murder for 6 months and was very aware of what he was doing, the judge said.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. The Menendez brothers. In 1989, Lyle and Eric Menendez opened fire on their parents, Jose and Kitty, at their family home in Beverly Hills, California.
So they said they grabbed shotguns that they had bought 2 days earlier for protection, went into the family room, and started shooting their parents,
When the cops arrived, the brothers stated they were out and came home to discover their parents slain. Eric later confessed to his psychiatrist, and the information got back to the police, who arrested them.
On March 8, 1990, after police got their hands on that tape, Lyle Menendez was taken into custody. Eric Menendez, who was out of the country at the time, surrendered to police days later.
While the prosecution pointed at the brothers' greed and wanting their wealthy father's cash, they had a different story. They spoke about the years of abuse they sustained from Jose. They feared for their lives after threatening to expose him, leading to them slaying their parents. In 1996, after the first trial was deadlocked, the brothers were sentenced to life without parole.
At the jury's recommendation, the brothers were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Which of these stories shocked you the most? Let us know below. Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.